Welcome to my channel. This is lesson 5, Intro to Texturing and Making Glass with Arnold Rendering in Autodesk Maya. Arnold comes along with Autodesk Maya, so it should already be installed within the program. You don't need anything separately. But Arnold is a renderer, as in an export item that is already pre-installed in Maya, or it should be installed in Maya. And in this lesson 5, we'll be learning how to texture, as in give our objects color in the scene. And that's what we'll be focusing on. Now we can start with our lesson. So now we are going to be texturing both the wine bottle and the wine glass to make it look a bit more realistic. Texturing is another way of saying coloring. That is the proper term in 3D modeling. Now, believe it or not, what we are going to start with is actually the glass cup. And it is surprisingly very, very easy. First thing I want to show you is go under rendering. Now, under rendering, you'll see a bunch of these yellow lights. And these are all different lights, directional light, ambient light. You don't need to worry about that. That's all under rendering. But what else is under rendering is your shaders. Now, shaders are essentially your colors. So these are essentially different materials that you can use. Some are shiny, some are default material. This actually already has a shader, which is, if you look at it, normally you're at your channel box. If you go to your attribute editor, you can see more specifications of the object that you have clicked. You can look at the transformations. You can see it changes if you go left or right. Right here. If you don't need to worry about this, it is best to be left alone, but you will see your initial shading group. What that means is this gray color is Maya's default color. Now, the default color is the shading group shader 1. Now, if you click the initial shading group, you can see that this is the gray color that gives the bottle and the glass, that is on the glass and bottle. And it's called Open PBR Shader 1. It's one of these shaders here. I'm pretty sure it's this. Now, if you want to edit the color of this original default shader, you can just click here, and these are the specifications. Now, you can see that you can change the color, but when you change the color, it changes, even though you're selecting the cup, it changes the wine bottle as well. That is because, let's go back, that's because this is the Maya's default color. Every shape that you bring in, even your boxes and your cones, I'm pretty sure if we change the color, everything will change. That's because since this is the default, if you click all of the objects, you can see that it has the same name, Open PBR Shader 1. This one is also Open PBR, this as well, and this as well. So because they're the same name, Maya thinks that you're editing that whole window, as in this whole setting, and everything under its name will change as well. Now let's get rid of this. So in order to bypass that, you always want to create a new material. How to do that is either by selecting rendering, and let's go with blend material. You can see that it has changed color. Now when you click the object, you can see the original glass cup, your transformations, one you don't have to worry about, and the color blend. As you can see, this was the blend material, the blend. Now when you change the color, the cup only changes color. Blend is your standard Maya software texture that you would want to be using. It's easy to use. It has a lot of settings for you to edit. But if you want a better render, and what rendering means is your final picture, you want it to be as realistic as possible, And we'll be learning how to do that by using Arnold. Arnold is a rendering software that's already built into Maya. You can see it right here, Arnold, or more specifically, these are your Arnold settings. These are your specific Arnold lights that works with the Arnold renderer. I'll show you how to open the renderer in this lesson a bit later, but for now, Arnold has its own material, and the best way to select that material, if you can see under rendering, it's not within these materials. You won't see Arnold material here. Now the best way to select the Arnold material is select your object, hold your right click, and while you're holding, go down, and assign new material. Now, once you hold it, hover your mouse over it, this option will show, and then just let go of your mouse and it will auto select it. Now you have all of your materials that you can use. You can even see your blend is here. So all these materials are already here. Now they're under favorites, usually under Maya. And you can see that there's another section under Arnold. Now this one only has one. If you want more specific shaders, Arnold has a bunch of specific shaders. Right now, all you need to worry about is the standard surface, which is also here, AI standard surface. Now click it. Now you have your Arnold shader, Arnold material made. Now you can see AI standard surface. That's your color. Let's easily change the name to glass cup. Now, just as I said, it is much easier than you expected. Because we are using Arnold, Arnold has a lot of really cool presets that you can just click and it'll automatically transform the shader for you. Now, what I mean is go under presets, and you can see there's a whole bunch of set different materials that is already here. You can automatically, Arnold will transform your shader into a balloon texture or car paint metallic, even chrome, clay, and there you can see glass. Now you want to go to glass, hover over your mouse, and just replace. There you go. There you go. And now you can see the object is actually invisible, as you can tell. Glass is obviously essentially invisible, but because you have no specific settings, it's a fully transparent glass. So once you click out of it, you can't really see it. The only reason why we can see it is because of our wireframe. If you were to select out of the wireframe, you wouldn't be able to see it, but you would be able to select it. So it's there, but you can't see it. Wireframe unshaded, so that when we click out of it, you can still see it. See the object. We've created this glass. Now, an easy way to check if what you're doing is right is just to do a quick render. And how you do that is right here under this section. If it's hidden, just click this, and it's the one with the eye. Click it. Your render view will pop up. Now the first thing that you want to do is make sure that it is Arnold render view. And how you start the render is actually by clicking this start IPR. That's to start the render. It's loading, and as you can see, we can really see nothing. It's black, and that's because in order to use Arnold, we have to apply Arnold lights. Now an easy way to do that, to check if everything that you're doing is right under Arnold, all you have to do, instead of creating a whole scene with specific lights, you just have to go to Arnold and create a sky dome light. What that does is creates a circle of light all around. That's it. And as you can see the glass right here. Now, because everything is white, obviously, so you can see through it. If your render didn't start, just click this. If you want to stop your render, because once you move it, it renders in real time. If you want to stop this because it takes a lot of CPU strength, or GPU strength. You want to stop it. Things might slow down. Now you can move it freely. Once you're done editing, you can resume. And there's your glass. And it does look like real glass. We would need to change the background and make sure that you can see the light. As you can see in the picture, it is wood at the background. That's the only reason why you can see the glass as it is. Now we can move on to the wine bottle. Now in order, I want to make sure that this doesn't bother me, because when I select things, I might accidentally click the sky dome. You can always delete it, and whenever you want to render, you can just create it back. But for now, it's in the way. Let's create this wine bottle. Now, this wine bottle is essentially a glass too, but we want to find another way of creating that. And an easy way is hold right click, go to your favorite material or new material, and go to your Arnold and AI standard surface. Now the best way to always have it on hand is right click and just add to favorites. This way, when you right click, you can just go down to AI favorites and it's right here. AI standard surface. Now you can see there's a whole bunch of things here. Wine bottle shape. Now you have a whole bunch of poly bevels. What this is actually all the curves that we made. If you remember, bevels are the curves. Now you can still edit these. We just have to find it. Which curve this is. There you go. It's this. This is the one that's changing. If you can see, you can still edit it after it's been created. So every single thing that you do, the history will pop up here. Now in order to, we've selected the AI standard surface, we just go all the way to the right. You can just hold it. Now there is a lot of things, but there are a lot of things that we did to the shape. In order to actually get rid of these, is go to edit, go to delete all by type, and go to history. This basically deletes everything. It keeps your shape as it is, but deletes all the information behind the history. Essentially, when you click it, now it's back to your bottle and your color. There's no more history. So that means you can't really edit it essentially anymore as easily. Of course, you can select your face and move it around and edit it, but you can't go back to the bevel information and change how many faces you want or whatever. So it's really your choice. It's better once you know you have your shape, just delete the history. Now go to your AI standard surface. Now this wine bottle is not exactly a glass. We don't want it completely see-through, but it's reflective like a glass. Let's first make it kind of a reddish black, since it is a wine bottle. So if you click on this color, click it, you can edit your color. Just move it around. Let's go to the red. Let's make it darker. And you can see the current color there is here. A little bit darker. I think that's good. It's still under face, so let's go back to object mode. There you go. Let's remove the wireframe to make it more clearer. There you go. Let's make it a tiny bit darker. So once you go right, it makes it lighter. Once you go left, it makes it darker. We don't want it completely black. There you go. It's still red. It's not see-through, so we have to fix that. If you want to make it a metal object, you can make it reflect like a metal, although since we have no lights, it will appear black. Now, specular is more so the reflection of the object. Now, you want reflection, you want it white, and the roughness is essentially how the light reflects off of it. The more roughness you have, the more light it takes in, kind of like a black shirt. But if you decrease the roughness, you can see the object, the color, and whatever you're doing to the shape. Right about here, it reflects the most light clearly. Let's go back to our Arnold renderer. Once you've opened it and not canceled it, it will most likely show up at the bottom left-hand corner. You just maximize it. And start your render. Now, sometimes it does show you a false render. This is actually from our last time. Now, what you want to do, because I know that because we have no lights right now, so there shouldn't be any light here. Turn it off and start it again. And this is what you're seeing right now. Since we did forget our lights, let's input our lights. And there you go. We have a wine bottle. Now, as you can see, the red is very bright, although it does reflect light in a proper manner. Let's go to our AI standard surface, which is our wine bottle. Let's actually rename this to wine bottle. And let's make it darker. Now, because it is still, the render is still going on, you can see the change in lifetime. Darker. What we want, actually, a good way, since the color is nearly black, we want the light to reflect the red. So this is the light reflecting. Let's create a bright red. That's too bright. And there you go. Now it is still a little too dark. Now a good way to make it a tiny bit see-through is transmission. This actually is another way of turning your bottle into a glass. So if you see, just turn it all the way up. Transmission is the light going through your object. You can see right here, transmission. So we want it so that it kind of looks like glass, but it looks more like colored glass now. A little bit too much. Now I actually want to add a kind of a wax at this top. Now, a good way, let's get rid of our light. And I actually kind of want a wax. As you can see here on the image, there's a bit of a cover, a plastic cover, or in a lot of wine bottles, wax. So I do want it covering all of this, but I don't want the wax to go all the way down here. So let's create an edge loop to edit just from that line and forward. Select the object, mesh tools, offset edge loop, click and hold. Now you can see when I clicked it, it actually selected this line right here. If I let go, it creates the line. We want to create a circle around here. Now you have to this is kind of an experiment, but you have to click around to make sure you selected the proper. It's still selecting that. Still selecting. There you go. So when I clicked on one of these circles, that's when I can edit a circle. Let's do it around. You kind of have to move your mouse around there. Once you let it go, it automatically presses enter for you. So now you've created two divisions. Let's go to face, select everything that's above this, And let's give it a different color. Same thing, hold right, add favorite material, AI standard surface. Now you can see this part is white, this part is your original glass bottle. Once you click the face, it actually selects your wine bottle, which is the red color, and it shows your new color since it shows you everything in this object. That is why it is better to name, so I know which color I'm editing. And standard surface, let's this wax cover. Press enter. Now, just like you saw before, presets, and there is already a wax replacement. Place it. Right now it's pink. We want it on the black side. So just select the black. As you can see, it has that red from our last session. Go all the way to black. Now you can see it still gives off a hint of pink or a different color. Why that is once you scroll down, it's your transmission. Just like how I said, it's light that passes through your object. This is turned off. There's no more pink. Go to your object and let's render this. First, your sky dome. Go back to your render. Click render. There you go. You can see that there is a wax top. There you go. A different way of also zooming in is instead of scrolling your mouse inwards, it does that. It has a very fixed rate. So once you move back, it scrolls a certain length. Once you zoom in, it scrolls a certain length. What if you want it in between? Just press your Alt key and your right mouse. Hold it and zoom in by moving your mouse, dragging your mouse inwards or outwards. That does very minuscule details instead of your regular zooming in. You can see it's completely out of the shape with one scroll, but if I want it a tiny bit, you can just Alt scroll. Now, we have our bottle, our wax cover, and our glass here. Now I want to add more details, and one way to do that, make it more realistic, is wine bottles actually have a paper describing what it is. So, like the first lesson, you saw that I saved a different image. Now, for the paper. Now, how we import that image and actually put it on this wine bottle is what we're going to be learning now.